ॐ ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता सप्तदशोऽध्यायः श्रद्धात्रयविभागयोगो नाम। अर्जुन उवाच ये शास्त्रविधिमुत्सृज्य यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेषां निष्ठा तु का कृष्ण सत्त्वमाहो रजस्तमः। श्रीभगवानुवाच त्रिविधा भवति श्रद्धा देहिनां सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चेति तां शृणु। सत्त्वानुरूपा सर्वस्य श्रद्धा भवति भारत। श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषो यो यच्छ्रद्धः स एव सः। यजन्ते सात्विका देवान्यक्षरक्षांसि राजसाः प्रेतान् भूतगणान् शान्ये यजन्ते तामसा जनाः। अशास्त्रविहितं घोरं तप्यन्ते ये तपो जनाः दम्भाहङ्कारसंयुक्ताः कामरागबलान्विताः कर्षयन्तः शरीरस्थं भूतग्राममचेतसः मां चैवान्तशरीरस्थं तान् विद्यासुरनिश्चयान्। आहारस्त्वपि सर्वस्य त्रिविधो भवति प्रियः यज्ञस्तपस्तथा दानं तेषां भेदमिमं शृणु। आयुस्सत्त्वबलारोग्यः सुखप्रीतिविवर्धनाः रस्या स्निग्धा स्थिरा हृद्या आहारा सात्विकप्रियाः कट्वं लवणात्युष्ण तीक्ष्णरूक्षविदाहिनः आहारा राजसस्येष्टा दुःखशोकामयप्रदाः यातयामं गतरसं भूतिपर्युषितं च यत् उच्छिष्टमपि चामेध्यं भोजनं तामसप्रियम् अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्यज्ञो विदि अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्यज्ञो विधिदृष्टो य युज्यते यष्टव्यमेवेति मनः समाधाय स सात्विकः अभिसन्धाय तु फलं दम्भार्थमपि चैव यत् इज्यते भरतश्रेष्ठ तं यज्ञं विद्धि राजसम् विधिहीनम् असृष्टान्नं मन्त्रहीनम् अदक्षिणम् श्रद्धाविरहितं यज्ञं तामसं परिचक्षते देवद्विजगुरुप्राज्ञ पूजनं शौचमार्जवम् ब्रह्मचर्यमहिंसा च शारीरं तप उच्यते अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत् स्वाध्यायाभ्यसनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते मनः प्रसादसौम्यत्वं मौनमात्मविनिग्रहः भावसंशुद्धिरित्येतत् तपो मानसमुच्यते श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते सत्कारमानपूजार्थं तपोदम्भेन चैव यत् क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसं क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसं चलमध्रुवम् मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयतेनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम् यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसं स्मृतम् अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असत्कृतमवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशो ब्रह्मणस्त्रिविधः स्मृतः ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञाश्च विहिताः पुरा यज्ञाश्च विहिताः पुरा ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु Kindly guide me where I should begin from. Three tapas we had seen already. Kaik, Vajik, Manasik. Dr. Savita or Dr. Brahmaraj ji or Manana ji, could you please guide me? Which was the last shloka which we did yesterday?
I think it was 21 starting.
I think from the 18th,
Okay.
18th shloka.
Okay. Yeah, so the 17th shloka says that threefold tapas observed with total shraddha by people who have no expectation of results other than mental purity and who are composed is called sattvika. So this tapas is observed by human beings, naraihi, in a threefold way, trividham, that is kaik, vachik or manasa. Who are the people by whom the tapas being discussed here is done? They are not doing it for the sake of a result like security, pleasure or punya to be enjoyed later. They are free of all such expectations with reference to results. They are aphalakankshis and are doing it only for mental purity, antahkarana shuddhi. They have a mind which is composed and committed, yukta. Those who have been well taught by parichakshate, that tapas of this sort done by people like this is sattvika. Now, next Bhagwan talks about Rajasika tapas. That is verse 80. सत्कारमान पूजार्थं तपोदम्भेन चैव यत् क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसं चलमध्रुवम्. Satkaramana pujartham, for the sake of receiving honor, respect and worship. Cha eva, and indeed. Dambhena, with ostentation. Yat tapas, the tapas which kriyate is done. Tat, that. Chalam, which is unsteady. Adhruvam, not lasting. Iha, here. Rajasam proktam is called Rajasika. Satkaramana pujartham cha eva dambhena yat tapasa kriyate tata chalam adhruvam iha rajasam proktam. That tapas which is done for the sake of receiving honor, respect and worship and with ostentation which is unsteady and not lasting is called here Rajasika. This type of worship is done by people not for Antakarana Shuddhi but purely for Sakar. That is, for the purpose of being considered a good person by others. Shankara says it is done so that people will say he is a good person and ascetic, a Brahmana. Ayam sadhuhu tapasvi Brahmanaha. He wants to pass as all of these. He practices austerities so that people will say, look how disciplined he is, how nicely he talks, how he eats so sparingly, etc. This is exactly what he wants. He is doing tapas for no other purpose. It is just another form of proving oneself. This is called Satkara Mana Pujartham. He will also appear in a particular form that will reveal that he is a good tapasvi. And he will not do his tapas quietly sitting at home, but in a public place where he can be noticed. He will have the accessories of a sadhu like a kamandalu in his hand and will demand that when he walks in, everybody should get up. This is mana. He makes sure that everybody recognizes him as a tapasvi and that they all prostrate to him and receive him with respect. And he will insist that the highest seat is offered to him. If he sits lower than anyone, he will think he is disrespected. This is called mana. He is a tapasvi so that everybody will worship him and he keeps his feet ready for that. Pada puja, that is washing, anointing, and offering flowers, etc., to the feet is something people generally do to sadhus. But this person poses as a sadhu in order to get that done. It is exactly the reverse of what it is supposed to be. Some people really want that kind of result for their efforts. I knew one person like that. In one particular month, Marga Shirsha, we used to go round the town every day early in the morning and sing bhajans. There is one chief, the organizer, who walks in front of the group. Sometimes, as we went round, people would come and offer namaskaras. The leader seemed to enjoy it and look forward to the namaskaras. Some people love it. This is not something that is only for discussion. It is all true. There are people like that. They want respect to be shown to them. This is all because they have no self-respect. There is a footnote. If you don't respect yourself, you want others to respect you so that you can see yourself as respectable. And there is always someone to show that respect to you. But there is no growth and no possibility of antakarana shuddhi here. Such a profound statement. This type of tapas is done by this person out of damba, just so that he can get recognition, just to make people know that one is a tapasvi so that he can get all these honors. When he does tapas, he makes sure he has an audience. That tapas is called rajasya here in the Shastra. Tat tapah rajasam proktam iha. This is tapas that is born of rajoguna. It is chalam, unsteady, and not lasting, adhruvam. People may give him some respect for some time, but later they will find out that he is not real tapasvi, not a highly disciplined, evolved religious person. Whatever opinion they had will change. This is because when one is not a tapasvi and poses as one, the responsibility is too enormous to maintain. One way or the other, he will burst out. Somebody will fail to respect him the way he wants and he will get angry. Then people will understand what tapas he has. Therefore, that tapas is not going to last, neither in terms of its practice nor its result. Understand all the problems that people can have if one is concerned about all this and wants this satkara, mana, and puja. What about the real thing that is there to be studied, to be understood? To assimilate it, there is so much to know. Those things all go down the drain when one is worried about these small things. So that was about the Rajasika Tapa, where people demand respect for their tapasya. Next, Bhagavan talks about the Tamasika Tapas. मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्. Mudhagrahena, due to deluded understanding. Atmanah pidaya, by afflicting one's body. Va, or parasya, of another. Utsadanartham, for the sake of destruction. Yat tapasa, the tapas which kriyate is done. Tata, that tamasam, tamasika udahrutam is called. Mudhagrahena atmanah pidaya va parasya utsadanartham yat tapas kriyate tat tamasam udahrutam. That tapas which is done due to deluded understanding by afflicting one's body or for the sake of destroying another is called tamasika. Mudha means with a perception that is deluded. This is because of lack of discrimination about oneself, about what is to be done and about what is proper and what is improper. None of this is very clear. With this lack of discrimination, one afflicts oneself, atmanah, one's own body, tapas. It afflicts not only the body but also the mind and does not produce very much of a result. Standing on one leg for a length of time or lying on a bed of nails is the type of tapas referred to here. Of course, there should be a lot of people to watch him. Only then will he do that. You can see all these types of tapasvis at a Kumbh Mela. Further, such tapas is sometimes done for the purpose of destruction of another person. Parasya utsadanartham. People who have the disposition of an asura or a rakshasa like Ravana do a lot of tapas just for the destruction of their enemies. Such a person wants to gain some power or get hold of some spirit so that he can send it to destroy people. This is what is commonly called black magic. There is a mantra shastra for all this, but I do not think it works these days. Some extraordinary asura tapas is required for that, and I do not think anyone is doing it now. The tapas like this is called tamasa. Now, the three types of tapas, satvika, rajasa, and tamasa, in terms of a guna that is predominant in their performance, have been told. Two types of tapas, rajasa and tamasa, are mentioned so that we can avoid them, and only one satvika tapas is really tapas. In the same way, giving charity, dana, is also threefold in terms of guna. That is being enumerated from the next verse onwards. Please do let me know if you want to repeat or if you want to share something. So three types of tapas and now the three types of dana. दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयतेनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्. Yad danam, the charity which datavyam iti, with the attitude that it is to be given, anupakarine, to one from whom one does not expect a return. Deshe, in the proper place, kalecha, and at the proper time, patrecha, and to a worthy recipient, diyate, is given, tat danam, that charity, satvikam smritam, is considered satvika. Yat danam datavyam iti anupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha diyate tat danam satvikam smritam. That charity which is given thinking, it is to be given to one from whom one does not expect a return in the proper place, at the proper time, and to a worthy recipient is considered sattvika charity. Charity that is given with the attitude, it is to be given, datavyam iti, is sattvika dana. A particular situation calls for giving, and that gives rise to the response, this is to be given by me, like the appreciation of karma yoga, this is to be done by me. The same attitude extended to giving when it is to be done is charity. I breaking of voice. If it is too much, then just let me know. I repeat, like the appreciation of karma yoga, this is to be done by me. The same attitude extended to giving when it is to be done is charity. This is also, therefore, karma yoga. What is given may be some practical or it may be some help extended in the form of effort. It is the attitude with which it is done that makes giving sattvic. I repeat,
Do you want me to read biology? If you feel on me to read, I can read for you.
Yeah, if my voice is king and if it is disturbing,
It's okay. I mean, your voice not bad. I mean, occasionally it breaks. Yes.
it is breaking because there is a notification.
Okay, I'll read it for you.
Yeah, dhanyavad. You can read
Where
from
do you-
charity.
Charity, okay. Okay. Charity that is given with attitude. It is to be given, datavyam iti, is satvika dana. A particular situation calls for giving, and that gives rise to the response. This is to be given by me. 1 second. This is to be given by me. Like the appreciation of karma yoga, this is to be done by me. The same attitude extended to giving when it's to be given is when it is to be done is charity. So again, like the appreciation of karma yoga, this is to be done by me. The same attitude extended to giving when it is to be done is charity. This is also therefore karma yoga. What is given may be some article, or it may be some help extended in the form of effort. It is the attitude with which it is done that makes giving sattvika. Whether it is sattvika or not is also determined by the kind of person to whom it is given. Charity that is sattvika is that given to a person. Again, charity that is sattvika is that given to a person whom you do not expect to help you in return. Anupak Anupakarine yat diyate. Shankara says this can be a person who is incapable of returning your help, like someone very old or feeble or impoverished, whose circumstances are not likely to improve much. It is clearly a one-way giving. But he says that this type of charity is also given to someone who is capable of returning the aid with no expectation of return. Even though he is capable of giving, you don't expect him to return your help. That is called dana. Otherwise, it becomes an investment. Only dana, that is given without any expectation of return, even thanks, is real giving. People often complain, I gave him a gift and he didn't even thank me. Or they say, he never remembers me, he never writes. This attitude is a problem. Here, however, even though the person to whom you give is capable of giving back, that is not the expectation. It is said that when you give with the right hand, the left hand need not know. What is given is totally forgotten. That is real giving and is called here Satvika Dana. Okay. Can we move forward? Okay. It is also important that the person should be a suitable recipient, patra. Patra. Again, it is also important that the person should be a suitable recipient, patra. Patra literally means a vessel, and the one who receives is like a receptacle. Therefore, he is also called a patra. The person should the person should deserve the help that you extend or the gift that you give. So the person should deserve the help that you extend or the gift that you give. You cannot simply give just because somebody asks you. You have to see whether the person deserves it or not. Again, here, you cannot simply give just because somebody asks you. You have to see whether the person deserves it or not. Shankara also says that it should be given to a sadhanka Veda Paraga, a person who has the
Shadanga
knowledge.
Veda Paraga. I think Shadanga Veda Paraga.
Shadanga Veda Paraga. Paraga. Shadanga Veda Paraga. A person who has the knowledge of 6 disciplines auxiliary to the study of the Veda. So, who has the knowledge of 6 disciplines auxiliary to the study of the Veda. So, that is the person who qualified to get the dana or the patra. I'll read this paragraph again. It is also important that the person should be a suitable recipient, patra. Patra literally means a vessel, and the one who receives is like a receptacle. Therefore, he is also called a patra. The person should deserve the help that you extend or the gift that you give. You cannot simply give just because somebody asks you. You have to see whether the person deserves it or not. Shankara also says that it should be given to Shadanka Veda Paraga, a person who has the knowledge of 6 disciplines auxiliary to the study of the Veda. Not only that, giving is to be done at the right place and right time. Deshe college. This is part of a religious. This is the part of the religious culture. Shankara says it is to be given at a place like Kurukshetra, which is considered a place where one can accumulate punya. That is, it is a punya kshetra. In such places, people come to take a bath on certain days. Kurukshetra is a place near Delhi where there is a large pond that is considered sacred, in which people take a religious bath, especially on the day of a solar eclipse. And every 12 years, when Jupiter moves into Aries, there is a Kumbh Mela. Thousands of people come there for a bath at that time. And wherever there is a temple or a place of sacred bathing like a river, it becomes a place of pilgrimage and is considered a Punya Kshetra. Rishikesh is a Punya Kshetra because it is at the foothills of the Himalayas, where the river Ganga comes down to the plains. Similarly, Haridwar and Varanasi are Punya Kshetras, and a place of confluence, Prayaga, called like Allahabad, okay, and a place of confluence, Prayaga, like Allahabad, where the Ganga meets the Yamuna, is a Punya Kshetra. Sometimes by association, a place becomes a Punya Kshetra, like Ayodhya by association with Sri Rama, Vrindavan by association with Sri Krishna, or because of association with the saint or some event recorded in the Puranas. A place is considered sacred in the minds of people. There is whole literature on the various kshetras in the Indian culture. Again, there is a whole literature on the various kshetras in the Indian culture. A holy place has its own Sthala Purana, relating the events that make the place sacred. Any sacred place is the appropriate place for charity. In fact, it is mandatory that one give dana at such sacred places. So the dana given at such places to the right person at the right time is considered sattvika. It is also important to give at the right time. Help must come on time. Again, help must come on time. It is of no use giving first aid treatment after 7 hours. The person has to be attended to immediately. Charity also has to be done when it is needed. There is also a religiously appropriate time to give. Shankara mentions the Punya Kala for giving dana as Shankranti, the time of winter solstice, the time of the winter solstice, when the sun begins to travel north, etc. This Makara Sankranti is considered a good day for distribution of food. Grahana, the time of an eclipse, is also a very sacred time for distribution of money. Again, go back here. Shankara mentions the Punya Kala for giving dana as Shankaranti, the time of the winter solstice, when the sun begins to travel north, etc. This Makara Sankranti is considered a good day for distribution of food. Grahana, the time of an eclipse, is also a very sacred time for distribution of money. This is done even today. Dana is very important thing in the Vedic tradition. Even today, food, cattle, land, house, and clothing are given as part of a ritual. And lastly, a daughter is given away in marriage. That is the highest dana of this type. But Vidya dana, giving knowledge, is higher than that too. But Vidya dana, giving knowledge, is higher than that too. Now, Bhagavan describes the Rajasa dana in the next verse. So we read about Satvika dana. Anyone wants anything to be repeated? Okay. Balaji, you want to read the next sloka? If you want, we can go further.
Yeah. Now Bhagwan describes the Rajasa dana. Yattu pratyupakarartham phalamudishya va punaha diyate cha pariklishtam Taddanam rajasam smritam. 2. On the other hand, you want to go ahead, Dr. Mara?
Yeah,
The
I'll read.
yeah, please go ahead.
2. On the other hand, yet dhanam, the charity which pratyupakar pratyupakarartam pratyupakarartam, for the sake of being helped in return, pratyupakarartam, va punaha, or again, phalam uddishya, keeping in view a result, punya, pariklistam cha, then that which is fraught with pain, diyate, is given, tat, that, rajasam smritam, is considered rajasa, tu, yat dhanam, pratyupakarartam va punaha phalam uddishya pariklistam cha diyate rajasam smritam. On the other hand, that charity which is given for the sake of being helped in return or keeping in view a result, a punya, to be gained later, and that which is fraught with pain is considered rajasika. Again, I'll read this. On the other hand, the charity which is given for the sake of being helped in return or keeping in view a result, punya, to be gained later, and that which is fraught with pain is considered rajasika. Dana, that is given with the expectation that one will be helped in return. So that dana that is given with the expectation that one will be helped in return, pratyupakararta, is rajasa. He gives at the right time when it is needed, but he thinks that when the time comes, the person to whom he gives will help him. That is why he gives. He does it to make the person feel, he does it to make the person feel obliged and with the expectation that he will get something in return. It is also giving, but because there is an expectation of receiving something in return, it becomes more of an investment than dana. Okay, so it is also giving the right time, but because there is an expectation of receiving something in return, it becomes more of an investment than dana. He gives keeping a result in view, phalam uddishya. He gives keeping a result in view, phalam uddishya. Earlier it was said that he gives expecting something in return, that is a phala, a result. Then why is this mentioned separately? This is to indicate that he has a long range plan. The result that he is keeping in view here is an unseen result, adrishta phala, in the form of punya. He wants to reap the benefit of this punya later, either in this life or in the next. Then again, it is given with some pain. Pariklishtam diyate. Whenever you give something, there is a sense of loss. Perhaps you do not really want to give, but you do not want to be called a miser, and therefore you give. You do it to preserve your name. Money that is given this way is sticky money because it does not leave your hand easily. When there is a pain in giving, it is very clear that the giving is born of Rajoguna. Wow. So there are three things that they mentioned here, right? Pratyupakarartha, and then phalam uddishya and pariklishtam diyate. So something expecting in return for the upakara that you do, and phalam uddishya like adrishta phala, that reaping punya in the long range. And pariklitam, that you don't want to really give the money, but you do not want to be called miser, so you give the money. So that 3 things for Rajoguna. Okay.
Yeah. The third type of dana is अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असत्कृतमवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
Yat Danam, the charity which Adesha Kale, at the wrong place and the wrong time. So Desha Kale is that one is the right place and right time. The Adesha Kale is at the wrong place at wrong time. Apatrebhya unto unworthy recipients. Okay. So that patra is a worthy recipient. Here apatrecha is unworthy recipient. Asat kritam, without respect, improperly. Avajnanatam is contemptuously. Diyate is given. Tat, that charity. Tamasam, udahritam, is called tamasa. That yat danam adesha kale apatrebhya asat kritam avajnatam diyate tat tamasam udahritam. That charity which is given without respect, improperly and contemptuously, at the wrong place and wrong time, and to unworthy recipients is called tamasika. See, this is all just opposite to sattvika. The charity which is given without respect, improperly and contemptuously, at the wrong place and wrong time, and to unworthy recipients is called tamasika. Dana given in the wrong place at the wrong time, adesha kale, adesha kale is tamasa dana. Shankara says it is a place which is not clean. There is no wrong time to give charity. There is no wrong time to give charity except when it is too late to be of any help. It should be given in time, and it should not be given to the undeserving. Apatre biyaha. Who are they? Shankara says they are people who cannot handle money, thieves, etc. The problem with giving to a person who cannot handle money is that he will squander what you give and come back to you again and again for more. Once you begin giving to such a person, you have to keep giving all the time. If you do not give, he will malign and abuse you. He does not quarrel with those who do not give. Again, he does not quarrel with those who do not give. But if you give him twice, thrice, and refuse the fourth time, you become a bad person. Similarly, one should not give to a thief or a drunkard or a gambler or anyone else who will not use the gift properly. A gambler always thinks he will win tomorrow. A gambler always thinks he will win tomorrow, but is never able to repay his debts. Giving to such people is not proper. It is not dana at all. Let me read this one more time. Starting from here. Once you begin giving to such a person, you have to keep giving all the time. If you do not give, he will malign and abuse you. He does not quarrel with those who do not give. But if you give to him twice, thrice, and refuse the fourth time, you become a bad person. Similarly, one should not give to a thief or a drunkard or a gambler or anyone else who will not use the gift properly. A gambler always thinks he will win tomorrow, but is never able to repay his debts. Giving to such people is not proper. It is not dana at all. Even though the person to whom you give is deserving, it's not real dana. If it is not given properly, asatkritam. In India, there is a religious protocol that must be followed, which includes pleasing words and, on certain occasions, washing the feet of and offering dana to the recipient. If you give some money to the right person at the right time and place, so again, if you give some money to the right person at the right time and place, but give it improperly by just throwing it at him, that is without honor. It is a tamasam dhanam. Oh, wow. So if you do everything and you give it improperly, that throwing at him, that is without honor, that it is a tamasam dhanam. So we have to really remember, give it at the right time, right place, to right person, and with the honor or respect. Avajñāta. Avajñāta means making the person feel ashamed that he came to you and asked for help. It is absolute discourtesy. Though you give, it is only after criticizing the person for half an hour. Giving with such disrespect and even contempt is avajñātam dhanam. So avajñāta means making the person, I'm going to read this again. Avajñāta means making the person feel ashamed that he came to you and asked for help. It is absolute discourtesy. Though you give, it is only after criticizing the person for half an hour. Giving with such disrespect and even contempt is avajñātam dhanam. This chapter began with Arjuna asking a question about a person who performs rituals without following the Shastra Vidhi, but with Shraddha. How do we view those karmas in terms of gunas? Are they sattvika, rajasika, or tamasika? Now, Krishna answers that question. He says that if a person has Shraddha and performs the karma saying Om Tat Sat at the beginning and at the end, that is enough to make the karma sattvika, even if he does not follow the Shastra Vidhi completely. If there is an omission, either due to ignorance or haste or some distraction or unavailability of certain materials that can be made up by simply saying Om Tat Sat. These words said at the beginning and at the end make the karma complete. How do we know this? It is purely from Shastra. Saying Om Tat Sat makes the karma efficacious. Even in a puja, one offers one offers akshata as a substitute for clothes, ornaments, and so on. What is the footnote? Akshata means rice grains made auspicious. So even in a puja, one offers akshata as a substitute for clothes, ornaments, and so on. This will never work in human transaction. But in a ritual, we have options. And one of them is saying Om Tat Sat to make up for any omissions or commissions. To complete sentence, though just indicated in the verse.
Are you okay, Dr. Mara?
Yeah, you go and read.
Yeah. Even in a puja, one offers akshata, that is the rice grain, as a substitute for clothes, ornaments, and so on. This will never work in human transaction. But in a ritual, we have options, and one of them is saying Om Tat Sat to make up for any omission or commissions. The complete sentence, though just indicated in the verse, is Om Tat Sat Ishwararpanam Astu. Let this be an offering unto the Lord, who is Om Tat Sat. At the beginning of any ritual and then again at the end, it is a common practice to say Om Tat Sat. In this way, when the karma is dedicated unto Ishvara, it makes the karma sattvika and therefore more efficacious. Om Tat Saditi Nirdesho Brahmanastrividha Smritaha ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञाश्च विहिता पुरा Om Tat Sat iti, saying Om Tat Sat, Brahmanah, of Brahman, sorry, it is Brahmanah, of Brahman. Trividah Nirdeshah, the threefold mention. Smritah is thought about. Tena, by that. Brahmanaha, the Brahmanas. Vedaha cha, and the Vedas. Yajna cha, and rituals. Pura, in the beginning. Vihitaha, were created. Om Tat Sat iti Brahmanah Trividah Nirdeshah Smrutah Tena Brahmanaah Vedaah cha Yajnaah cha Pura Vihitaah. Om Tat Sat is the threefold expression of Brahman. By that, the Brahmanas, the four Vedas, and rituals were created in the beginning. I repeat the meaning. Om Tat Sat is the threefold expression of Brahman. By that, the Brahmanas, the four Vedas, and rituals were created in the beginning. A meaningful word, anything that reveals something, is called Nirdesha. It is an expression that reveals something. In that sense, a name is also called a Nirdesha because it stands for the object and reveals that object. The three-word expression Trividaha Nirdeshaha Om Tat Sat is mentioned. Smritaha in the Vedanta Shastra and by those who know the Vedanta Shastra. Like any Nirdesha, these words reveal an object, the Nirdeshya. What is that? The three words Om, Tat, Sat reveal Brahman. The word Tat indicates Brahman as it does in the sentence Tat Tvam Asi. There is a footnote. It is in the Chandogya Upanishad. Om is also Brahman as stated in the Upanishad Vakya, Om iti Brahma, that is in the Taittiriya Upanishad. And Om iti etad aksharam idam sarvam, that is in the Mandukya Upanishad. So these Brahma, these Vakyas. May I request Mrinalji if she can take over? Hari Om. Anybody is
Jai Gurudev. Just a minute, please.
Are you comfortable to take over? Yeah, I will leave. The three words Om Tat Sat reveal Brahman. The word Tat indicates Brahman. It does in the sentence Tat Tvam Asi, that is from the Chandogya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, and these three Vakyas related to Om. Om Tattvamasi. Om also is Brahman as stated in the Upanishad Vakya. Om iti Brahma and Om iti etad aksharam idam sarvam. Yeah, Mrinalji, are you okay to take over? Okay. Then the word Sat is used for Brahman as the cause of creation. Sat eva Soumya idam agre asit ekam eva advitiyam.
Jai Gurudev Bela, I can take over. Maybe Mrinal is
Yeah,
not in there. Okay.
yeah. Dhanyavad. I think this pronunciation I'm not correct. Sat
You're there,
eva.
Mrinal? Okay, you can carry on, Mrinal. I thought maybe you were not there.
Yeah. I'll share the screen.
We'll read for another 5 to 7 minutes, 6:10 or so, and then we'll break for Manana. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, Mrinalji, kindly read from here the Om. I think
I think meaningful word.
yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah. Dhanyavad.
Yeah, you can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
A meaningful word, anything that reveals something, is called nirdesha. It is an expression that reveals something. In that sense, a name is also called a nirdesha because it stands for the object and reveals that object. The three-word expression Trividaha Nirdeshaha Om Tat Sat is mentioned Smritaha in the Vedanta Shastra and by those who know the Vedanta Shastra. I'll read this again. A meaningful word, anything that reveals something, is called Nirdesha. It is an expression that reveals something. In that sense, a name is also called a Nirdesha because it stands for the object and reveals that object. The three-word expression Trividhaha Nirdeshaha Om Tatsat is mentioned Smritaha in the Vedanta Shastra and by those who know Vedanta Shastra. Like any Nirdesha, these words reveal an object, Nirdesha. What is that? The three words Om Tat Sat reveal Brahman. The word Tat indicates Brahman as it does in the sentence Tat Tvam Asi. Om also is Brahman as stated in the Upanishad Vakya. Om iti Brahma and Om iti etat aksharam idam sarvam. These are from the Chandogya Taittiriya Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, and again Chandogya Upanishad. Then the word Sat is used for Brahman as the cause of creation. Sat eva Saumya idam agre asit ekam eva advitiyam. All three words independently and together reveal Brahman. In this expression, Brahmanaha Vedaha yajnaha cha vihitah. Pura Brahmanas, Vedas, and Yajnas were created. I'll read this again. All three words independently and together reveal Brahman. In this expression, Brahmanaha, Vedaha, and Yajnaha cha Vihitaha Pura Brahmanas, Vedas, and Yajnas were created. The word Brahmana can be taken as denoting a Varna, that is Brahmana, and thus standing for all four categories of the people mentioned in the Veda. Or it can be adjective to the word Vedaha, meaning the Vedas that are called Brahmanas. This includes all four Vedas. They all begin with Om. Yagnas are the rituals mentioned in the Veda, like Agnihotra, as well as any form of worship to the Lord, like puja. All these Brahmanas, Vedas, and Yajnas were created by saying Om Tat Sat. Because by saying this, Brahmaji created everything. These words came out from Brahmaji in the beginning, Pura, Pura. Then everything was created, and therefore they have become very important words. Just by saying them, you create a certain force that neutralizes any wrong action committed and makes up for any omission of the prescribed step. One must also have Shraddha in the efficacy of saying Om Tat Sat. If you simply say it without Shraddha, it is meaningless. You want me to read this again or should I go further? Now he is going to deal with each one of these words severely. First, he takes up the word Om. Tasmado.
Jai Gurudev Mrinal. I think we will revise whatever we have learned till now. You can chant the verses that were done till now.
Which ones I joined a bit later. So
we started from 18th verse, I think.
Okay.
Let me know if you want me to chant the verses.
Yeah, I think better you would read it better than me. Please chant.
Yeah, I think just one verse before this, the 17th verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapasthatrividham naraihi aphalakankshibhiryuktaihi satvikam parichakshate. That threefold tapas, observed with total shraddha by people who have no expectation of results other than mental purity and who are composed, is called satvika. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. That tapas which is done for the sake of receiving honor, respect, and worship, and with ostentation, which is unsteady and not lasting, is called here Rajasika. मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत् tamasamudahritam. That tapas which is done due to deluded understanding by afflicting one's body or for the sake of destroying another is called tamasika. दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयतेनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्. That charity which is given thinking it is to be given to one from whom one does not expect a return, in the proper place, at the proper time, and to a worthy recipient is considered Satvika charity. Yattu pratyupakarartham phalamuddishya va punaha diyate cha pariklishtam taddanam rajasam smritam. On the other hand, that charity which is given for the sake of being helped in return or keeping in view a result, punya, to be gained later, and that which is fraught with pain is considered rajasika. Adeshakale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkritamavajñatam tattamasamudahritam. That charity which is given without respect, improperly, and contemptuously at the wrong place and wrong time and to unworthy recipients is called tamasika. ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशो ब्रह्मणस्त्रिविधः स्मृतः ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञाश्च विहिताः पुरा. Om Tat Sat is the threefold expression of Brahman. By that, the Brahmanas, the four Vedas, and rituals were created in the beginning. Jai Gurudev. I think we'll close our eyes and reflect on all that we have understood. And let's come with our understanding. Let's share our understanding. Jai Gurudev. So the spectrum of the number one is the attitude with which all this tapas is done. All the three kinds of tapas, the kaika, vachika, and the manasika tapas, done. If it is done only for antakarna shuddhi, that is satvika. If it is done to gain respect, to show off, then that is done, that is with a rajasika attitude. If it is done afflicting yourself, your body, and if it is done to destroy another, like black magic and all of that, that is considered tamasika. And then the three different kinds of danas is outlined so beautifully. Charity needs to be done like karma yoga. It is to be given. If your left hand does not know what your right hand gives, that is Satvika Dana, where you do not expect anything back in return. It is done at the right time, at the right place, and it's given to a worthy person. All these three are satisfied, and you just do it because you have to do it. Whereas when you're doing it with an attitude of expecting some return back, some help back from that person, or you're expecting some adrishta phala, some punya, or if you are doing it with that pain, you're not doing it happily, you're not joyfully doing it. You feel that pain when you're giving away as if you're losing something. That is Rajasika. And when you give it to an unworthy person, a person you're giving it at the wrong time and disrespectfully, that becomes Tamasika Dana. And so beautifully, after having laid out all of this, Bhagavan says, Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdeshyo. If any ritual, sometimes you may not know exactly what the Shastra says, but if you do it with Shraddha, and if you say these three words at the beginning and at the end of any ritual or action, then that becomes Satvika. That is, it absolves you of any wrong intention. It purifies it. Om Tat Sat. Nirdesha is something that it's a word that gives a meaning behind it. So Om Tat Sat. These are the three words that actually represent Brahman.
It's indication.
Yeah, indication. Right. Thank you. So Om Tat Sat. Rather than just saying it mechanically, when you actually say Om Tat Sat and you revel in that meaning, in what they indicate, that actually is quite elevating. Sometimes, like for instance, akshatas are used instead of flowers, instead of it is used as a substitute for, in case you lack any of the items for the puja, then you use akshatas. So similarly, this Om Tat Sat is like a substitute for the lack of the proper attitude of
omission any act that we are doing, right?
Yes. So please, everybody else also share. Thank you.
Now that you pretty well summarized everything, that one thing in that dharana part, giving at right place, right time, worthy person, and with shraddha, so if we are like respect or honor them, like, at one point they said that you even wash their feet before giving dana, like that, had to be given, in terms of that. Otherwise, otherwise it still caused tamasika, it said in the one paragraph that we read. In the Om Tat Sat, we have to say it in the beginning of our prayer to now. I think that'd be nice. We always sing in the end.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That is why we start anything, for instance, with Om. Whether it's a yoga session or a puja or a prayer, we start with Om. We chant it 3 times. So now it's slowly becoming clear why we do what we do.
we are doing it with the Shastra Vihitam. By just
Shastra
doing
Vihitam.
that, even just as simple as chanting Om with everything is the Shastra Vihitam. I was wondering, what I'm supposed to do, and clearly Bhagavan explained, and he's going to explain more in next 3 verses, I think. Thank you.
Anybody else wants to share before we close? So again, all this is like an inner attitude. This whole chapter is about your inner attitude of how you speak, what tapas you do, and how you give charity, what you eat. It's fine-tuning our inner milieu. And with respect to dana, sattvika dana, we have so many examples in our scriptures, in our Puranas, like Satya Harishchandra, Dharmaraja, Yudhishthira. They just gave without a thought, without a single thought of. Look at Rama also, for instance.
Karna also.
Even
Karna. So many examples we have, role models, so to say, for us to follow. Yeah. Okay, I think shall we close here? We'll chant the Shanti part and then we can play Brahmajnana Vali Mala. Thank you.
Jai Gurudev Brahmaraji.
Yes.
One of the days, shall we just how we do this Bhagavad Gita shloka? Can we do it this with Maya, Panchakam and Brahmajnana Vali also? Even if we don't understand, but if we go through all of us together through it,
You mean
will
to
help us.
read the meaning?
Yeah,
And
no
little
bit contemplate on it.
Yeah. We'll
so
do
the
that.
impact of the chanting will be much more effective.
Yes. Agree.
Thank you.
We'll do. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
असङ्गोऽहम् असङ्गोऽहम् पुनः पुनः सच्चिदानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्यशुद्धविमुक्तोऽहम् निराकारोऽहमव्ययः भूतभव्यभवेष्ठोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्योऽहं निरवध्योऽहं निराकारोऽहमच्युतः परमानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः शुद्धचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् आत्मा रामोऽहमेव च अखण्डानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रत्यक्षचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् शान्तोऽहं प्रकृतेः परः शाश्वतानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तत्त्वातीतपरात्माहम् मध्यातीतः परशिवः मायातीतपरञ्ज्योतिः अहमेवाहमव्ययः नानारूपव्यतीतोऽहम् चिदाकारोऽहमच्युतः सुखरूपस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः माया तत्कार्यदेहादि मम नास्त्येव सर्वदा स्वप्रकाशैकरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः गुणत्रयव्यतीतोऽहम् ब्रह्मादीनां च साक्ष्यहम् अनन्तानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः अन्तर्ज्योतिस्वरूपोऽहम् कूटस्थः सर्वगोऽस्म्यहम् सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः द्वन्द्वादिसाक्षिरूपोऽहम् अचलोऽहं सनातनः सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रज्ञानघन एवाहम् विज्ञानघन एव च अकर्ताहम् अभोक्ताहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः निराधार सर्वाधारोऽहमेव च आप्तकामस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तापत्रयविनिर्मुक्तः देहत्रयविलक्षणः अवस्थात्रयसाक्ष्यस्मि अहमेवाहमव्ययः दृग्दृश्यौ द्वौ पदार्थौ स्तः परस्परविलक्षणौ दृग्ब्रह्मदृश्यं मायेति सर्ववेदान्तडिण्डिमः अहं साक्षीति यो विद्यात् विविच्यैवं पुनः पुनः स एव मुक्तः स विद्वान् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः घटकुड्यादिकं सर्वम् मृत्तिकामात्रमेव च तद्वद्ब्रह्म जगत्सर्वम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मिथ्या जीवो ब्रह्मैव नापरः अनेन वेद्यं सच्छास्त्रम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः अन्तर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात्परः ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम् ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम्